But Chennai, they still had a problem.
Major.
It was good, though, to see LeBron and KD going head-to-head again in the postseason, playing meaningful basketball for the first time since the 2018 finals. It was LeBron, though, who had the upper hand in this matchup. The trio of James, Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, they scored 43 of the 54 first-half points for the Lakers on Tuesday night. And despite a 20-point first half from Durant, LA led by 3 at the break. So let's go ahead to the third here. The Lakers, they use a steady diet of the pick and roll here. LeBron finding DeAndre Ayton for the jam.
Oh, that's where the defense of the Rockets, normally that's their strong suit, but Alperen Şengün was too high and was laid on a couple of those possessions.
That was the highlight of the night. The two-handed reverse. Here's James talking about that dunk.
I don't even know what that was about. I gotta sit the hell down. I gotta sit down somewhere.
41-year-olds on set. Can we still get up like that? Look at this comparison, the side-by-side back in 2004. All right, and then more out of that pick and roll here, Chennai. James drives.
Traumatize me real quick. But honestly, I was just so happy to watch LeBron James cook, not only score like we saw on that dunk, but also facilitate. This was a masterclass by a 41-year-old.
Uh-oh, you know what time it is?
Oh, man, it's island
time.
Put you on an island.
James gets inside, finishes with the left, and then 2.5 to play. The Lakers up 5. Marcus Smart hits
Wide open.
Corner 3.
For a playoff game, there's such little resistance by Houston on defense.
And here's the icing on the cake. LeBron backdoor cut, two-handed jam. He finished with 28, 8, and 7. So let's take a listen to Kevin Durant on what went wrong. What was he seeing from that Lakers defense?
They start doubling me from possession 1, man. Like, I think I got to be better at not putting my teammates in bad positions when I swing that ball. Sometimes I could beat the double, get downhill, make the shot a little easier for him. Shoot the ball, I mean, two to three people on me, I shoot the ball, we can get offensive rebound. I'm trying to make passes, I'm trying to make the correct, swing the ball sometimes, but I feel like I got to shoot more of those and put my teammates in better position. They're making threes, and we're not. We're getting way more shots than them in this series at the rim. We're getting the same amount of threes up. We offensive rebounding well. The difference is they made shots. They got guys that's knocking down shots.
I was in that press conference, and I don't think KD was so much surprised by the double team because he saw it so much in the regular season, but there was no answer that they had out of it. You used a good word. You used an SAT word on the Wildly Successful Hoop Collective podcast about the approach here that we need to go, the two-pronged approach for...
Bifurcated. Yeah, there's two things going on here. At one point,
wait.
First of all, you got to define it. You got to explain it.
We're going to take a bifurcated approach to discussing.
Because I think the Lakers, there's two things going on, basically. Perk, it means two things are going on, all right? Okay. The one thing going on is that the Lakers are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Okay? They have a really good game plan. They got 48 points from Luke Kennard and from Marcus Smart yesterday. That's probably akin to what they would have gotten from Doncic and Reeves, okay? And especially, they scored 101. They got 48 from those two guys, okay? That's pretty good. The second thing is the Rockets offensively are just an absolute disaster.
Right.
9 turnovers for Kevin Durant. Some of it is his mistake. Some of it is the scheme. Like, 101 points. I know that we showed the Rockets screwing up on defense. You can survive 101 points in 2026. You should be able to score 102. They can't score anything on offense.
So in that bifurcated approach, Perk, when you're looking at the Lakers side of all of this, what did they do? Because, yes, of course, it was the Rockets' mistakes, but what impressed you about the game plan that they executed?
Well, I mean, it's the IQ, right? And then we got to give a lot of flowers to J.J. Redick because he deserved every bit of it, right? When you talk about putting together a game plan, when you talk about empowering the role players and others to elevate their game, Jackson Hayes played the best game that I've seen him play in a long time. If you're a box score watcher, then you won't be able to see exactly or hear what I'm saying. But when you talk about doing the little things, he maxed out. That possession in the fourth quarter where he got the ball from LeBron in the pocket pass and he made the simple high IQ pass to the wing and then they swung it to the corner to Marcus Smart for the 3. That was big. That was a crucial play. So, again, when you think about what J.J. Redick is putting together, he's out coaching Ime Udoka. He's maxing out his guys. His rotations are on point, and that's why we're seeing the difference between the two.
And the numbers to back you up, Perk. Kevin Durant was doubled on 14 plays. The Rockets actually shot 6 for 11. They scored 13 points out of the double. It felt like they shot way worse, whereas he only had 2 points and only attempted 3 shots. To me, that's by design for him not to shoot.
It feels like the solution, they were passing out of the double a little better in the fourth quarter.
Not well enough for me, but
it's going to have to be a men, right? It's going to have to be a men who's going a week before we could see him back.
Right. So first off, we have to acknowledge that concussion symptoms are unpredictable. That's why they have a protocol, because sometimes they show up later. So that is the upsetting news. The thing that you mentioned about him not potentially having any other injuries is really, really relieving, because, you know, even a dental injury you could have seen from that height. The second thing that I think is important is in the playoffs, in the first round, you always get one spot where you get 2 days off between. Sometimes you have two days off, but you always have at least 1 2-day gap. It just so happens that the 2-day gap is between 2 and 3. So at least the Spurs have this to go on. And while I know that this is a huge shock to the Spurs system, the fact that they do get two days will also help the team prepare for the game on Friday, whether he can play or not.
I think that's the biggest point, is that you get 72 hours to prepare for Friday night. And certainly that lineup that they had out at the end of the game, that kind of that small ball lineup, and they had Luke Cornett out there with all the guards out there. I think that's probably, if Victor doesn't play, that's probably what we're going to more see. But time will tell as far as if we're going to see him on the court.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, we're glad that it's certainly nothing more than a concussion, but this can be incredibly serious. So we're just hoping for the best here for Victor Wembanyama. But there was still a game, Chiney, to be played. So let's take you out to San Antonio to see how this one went down. We're going to pick this one up with under 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter here. Devin Vassell shoots, knocks down the jumper, Chiney.
You're going to need more of that without Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs backcourt has to step up, and you need to see more plays like this from D. Fox as a facilitator.
Luke Cornett has been absolutely incredible. I did not know he had that in his arsenal. Scoot Henderson, though, speaking of incredible, Euro steps his way inside, possibly his best stretch here as a Blazer.
Without question, considering he missed 50 games this year with a hamstring injury, just amazing to get this in this time in the season.
Henderson knocks down the 3 there. Next Portland possession here. Henderson kicks it out to Robert Williams, the third. Okay, get you a big man who can do an assist.
We didn't have that on the bingo
there
card.
To clean it out.
Have your teammates back.
17 seconds left in the fourth. Denny Avdia drives to the
the
paint.
D-cell there on the pass.
Gets it to the Time Lord. It is worth noting that they went closed with the Time Lord over Klingon there, who you can see is hyped for his teammate there on the bench. 5.2 seconds left. The Spurs trail by 1. Vassell gets the inbound pass. He's been knocking those shots down. Good look. Just couldn't quite get it to fall. Vassell can't believe that one didn't go down. So the Trailblazers, they steal game 2, and they even up this series as they get the 106-103 win here. So San Antonio, remember, they were up by 14 points entering the final 8 minutes and 30 seconds of the fourth quarter. But the Blazers, they went on to close the game shooting 10 for 15. They outscored the Spurs 12-0 in the paint, and San Antonio's backcourt, they didn't make a shot over that stretch. They were 0 for 7. So we don't know, of course, how long Wemby is going to be out for here, as Kendrick Perkins joins us for this conversation as well. Chiney, you mentioned De'Aaron Fox, him needing to step up. Perk, who do you think needs to step up here?
Oh, it's De'Aaron Fox for sure. I mean, when you talk about going on the road, the one knock against the San Antonio Spurs, while a lot of people didn't pick them to win it all, is their lack of experience, right? And so you're going on the road possibly without your generational talent. You need a veteran like De'Aaron Fox, a guy that has been in this moment, to rise to the occasion and level up. They don't need him to be popular. They need him to be powerful. One of those performances that we saw when he went toe-to-toe with Steph Curry a few years ago when he was in Sacramento. That's the type of impact he has to have, especially if they don't have Wemby and going on, because Portland is an underrated city when it comes to their fan base. It get rowdy in that arena.
Oh, interesting, Perk. I was listening to you yesterday, and you were talking about the Knicks and the Hawks, and you said, oh, when you're in Atlanta in the playoffs, it's like the club. So there are a lot of underrated cities in your eyes, but I feel like it's more than just, De'Aaron Fox. It's the entire backcourt. Because right now they're getting big performances, not just the play-in, but also the playoffs from Denny Avdia. And then you have, obviously, Scoot Henderson showing up and having those out-of-the-character and times 30-plus points. It's going to be Stephon Castle. It's going to be Devin Vassell. The whole backcourt for the Spurs have to step up. But most importantly, I really felt like they were going to eke this out. And that's why I really think that the Trailblazers stole one. Because your star player goes down, you're at home, you have one of the best fan bases excited for this moment in the playoffs, and then you just didn't have that momentum down the stretch. And you made an important stat about how they shot so well in the paint because there was no helicopter there as well. And so they have to, now, I guess sometimes when you know someone's not there,
Right.
you can scheme and prepare more accordingly.
Right.
But I even thought that given the circumstances that they would pull this one out, they have to understand that they
One
lost
thing
one
that
they
did
should have had.
happen was that Toumani Camara, who's an all-defensive player, he typically would have guarded Wembanyama down the stretch, and because he didn't have that assignment,
Everything adjusts.
he went out to De'Aaron Fox.
Sure.
He didn't make the highlight, but he had 8 points in the fourth quarter. He actually had one of the most impactful games he's ever had. But freeing up Kamara from having to defend the interior to the perimeter
Right.
is a significant difference that changes things in this series.
And we're talking about the backcourt, which is absolutely important when you're talking about a clutch player of the year needing to be able to carry the offensive load here. But there were stretches. We talked about how good Luke Cornett has been, Bobby. There were stretches in that game where the Spurs, they decided to go with no center out there. And they were outscored by 7 in those minutes. So when Luke Cornett's not on the floor and Victor's not on the floor, where do you think San Antonio needs to adjust?
Well, it turns into a jump shooting team. There's no points in the paint, and what you saw with Portland was they went to a more athletic center in Robert Williams, and they took Donovan Clingan out the game, and that really kind of changed the dynamics there. So I think, how do you combat that if you're the Spurs there? It's similar to what we saw with the Denver series. You get tired legs, you start to be a jump shooting team here, and that's something that happened. I'll say this. For Portland, I'm going to throw a number out, number 40. 40 is the number of possessions that closing unit played all season long here.
Wow.
And if we're going to give flowers out, I'm giving it to Thiago Splitter, their coach,
Yeah.
who has really pushed all the right buttons, not just